What's good, YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. Christian here again with another video, and I got the patch notes attached to DLC 3 here. Okay, the official patch notes got released on their website. Okay, before we just had a Reddit leak. I didn't want to do a video until these were confirmed. So as you see, the Sparking Zero site has the patch notes now, so you could go read them yourself, and they're in English. So let's go over them. I'm going to be going over the implications of what the patch notes might mean for the game going forward as well. So you might want to stick around and get that, okay? So let's get started. So now, number one, general changes and adjustments. We got the first Demon World stage, okay? This is the best thing about this DLC. We actually got a new map, okay? And yes, we have 6 additional characters, but we got to see if the characters are viable to be used competitively online. If they're not, then they're just going to get wasted. But everyone can play on this stage. So we know that this stage is a good addition to the game, okay? In single battle, we got characters who recover health upon transformation will no longer do so, okay? But characters who can transform will receive a permanent attack power buff when transforming using skill stock. And this buff is removed when reverting the transformation. Now, my question is, how powerful is this attack buff? Because the thing about the health upon transformation, I know a lot of the community felt like it wasn't fair, but it actually made a triangle meta happen, okay? So we had the high DP characters. They were still really strong, still meta, still being used in singles. And then we had androids as the second option. And third, we had transformation characters, okay? So now if the attack buff is not strong enough and it replaces the health regen, that third option might be gone now. It might just be high DPs and androids fighting for the meta spot, okay? And that's a problem because it just makes character variety worse. So this actually might be a bad change. It depends how strong that attack buff is. Hopefully is pretty strong because we want people transforming. We want people to interact with the base forms and lower forms so that we can have better character variety in the game, okay? So this might actually ruin that. So I might not like this change depending on how strong that buff is. Another question is, did they test the game to make sure that the buff does not stack? Because if you can transform multiple times and just multiply your attack power and just stack the buff, then that could make transformation characters like pretty broken, okay? So that is a danger. We know Bandai doesn't test their game before releasing patches. So that might break the game if that is the case, okay? So hopefully that doesn't happen. Another implication of this change is that characters that have cheap transformations also get a buff associated with that. So for example, my main, who is Bootanks, basically he has a 1 skill point transformation. So now he's going to get an attack power buff just for transforming to Buhan. So now for 1 skill point, I could get my key all the way up and I get an attack power buff. That is very strong. So the meta will change and help those characters out. But I don't think that the buff is going to be strong enough to topple just the highest DP characters. I feel like we're going backwards in character variety now. High DP characters are just going to be the meta moving forward again. Okay, so let's move on. That's a big change, so I wanted to spend some time on that, but let's move on to the next one. Added an option for displaying the edge of the area, allowing players to show where the boundary appears when approaching it. That's a great change. Okay, a lot of people complain about the barriers, including myself, because sometimes you will make actions in the game thinking that you have the space to do them, but the barrier is just invisible and you'll miss your attack because of that. So now you can change that option and you can see the barriers when you approach them. That's a good change in my opinion. Episode battle, no one cares about that. Custom battle, no one cares about that. Okay, ranked matches. Players will now receive a minimum of 50 points regardless of the difference in rank points. So you won't get 0 points anymore from winning matches against other Z ranks or people just way lower than you. That's a good change. In my opinion, it should be more points though. Should be minimum 100 points. 50 just feels like it's almost 0 in my opinion. So they could have went higher with that. At the end of the season, players ranked first to 100 will receive a text title indicating their rank. That's a good change. We complained in season 0 when people were grinding their ass off, even cheating to get the top 10 spot, and they didn't get a title next to their rank. In my opinion, They shouldn't just have first to 100. They should have top 10, top 50, 100, 150, okay? Something like that. Similarly, for character ranks, players ranked to first to 100 will receive a text title indicating their rank at the end of the season. This is an even greater change because a lot of people don't grind leaderboards, but they like grinding the character ranks. So this is a good change for those people. Now, what I like, the mechanics of the game, battle system changes and adjustments. So short dash, players can now perform another short dash immediately after starting one, but only once. So you could essentially double short dash. So you could start in one direction and quickly change directions. This just adds another movement option, which in my opinion is great for the game. I like movement in the game. It's part of the reason why I still play this game. So adding even more movement options, in my opinion, is a great win. Okay, so I'll take that. Increasing the speed of ascent and descent at close range. Okay, so maybe they're indicating ascent and descent without dragging dashing. They're increasing the speed. This is another movement option added to the game, and now you can mix up movement options by pressing R1 or L2, which is my ascent and descent button. And a lot of people were already doing shadow steps, and they were doing like ghost flanks and stuff like that, and this is just gonna increase that. It's gonna add more movement to the game, which in my opinion increases the skill gap and is great for the game. Okay, increase key consumption on quick ascent and quick descent. Now this basically makes disengagements harder, so they're kind of forcing you to remain in the fight a little bit longer, right? Because quick ascent and quick descent was just the easiest way to get out of the step-in barrier, you know, when you're close range with somebody. So now they're increasing the key consumption, making it harder to escape engagements. Okay, so general ultimate blast, they reduce the damage reduction, so scaling. Okay, they reduce damage scaling when hitting with ultimate blast during combos. Okay, so when you set up an ultimate, now they are rewarding you more for landing that ultimate. You will do more damage. In my opinion, that's good. Okay, we're not seeing a lot of ultimates right now. Okay, in the base game, they were just too prevalent. Now you don't see them enough because the damage scaling just makes it not smart to use. It's kind of like wasting key in a way because the damage scaling is just so crazy, right? So now you're going to get rewarded for landing that ultimate, and it's going to make people die even quicker in DP battles, which I approve of. Okay, I want people getting downed easier in DP battles. I want DP battles to go faster. I want people taking more damage. So this, in my opinion, is a positive change. Key blast deflect. Okay, players can now quickly perform smash attacks during key blast deflect. I know why they added this. It's because sometimes you will throw a key blast, right? And you deflect it and you're stuck in place, just giving your opponent like an opportunity to open you up. Even though you made the right decision in deflecting the key blast and you timed it correctly, you're getting punished because your character model can't move. So now they just gave you the option to do a light smash out of that, which is great. Okay, so now if you deflect and your opponent's close to you, instead of you getting opened up, you could just light smash out of there and open them up. Okay, punishing them. So in my opinion, good change. I don't know if anybody was asking for that change though, but now we have that in the game. So all right, so Sonic Sway, fix an issue where follow-up attacks after Sonic Sway could be guarded for some characters. Now this, I feel like they changed it in the last patch, but I didn't notice any differences. Okay, so if anybody is aware, when you Sonic Sway somebody, you could follow up attack, but most people know how to guard that, and it puts you at negative priority when guarded. So maybe they removed that, and now you could just follow up after a Sonic Sway. But then that just makes Sonic Sway extremely powerful now. The thing is, Sonic Sway is kind of not as common as it used to be because you can't perception out of guard anymore. So I don't know how this change is going to affect the game. It might not affect it a lot, but it makes Sonic Sway extremely punishing when you get Sonic Swayed. So keep that in mind, okay? So revenge counters. Revenge counters fixed an issue where the activation window for perception against revenge counter was shorter than intended. I don't know if you guys are aware, like when you're playing the game and you revenge counter, sometimes people would just press perception and it would catch the revenge counter, but it wouldn't do an animation. So the character was still either like trying to hit you or something similar, and they would hit perception like very quickly, and it would catch the revenge counter even though the character was already performing a move. So they're trying to make it harder for that perception to catch revenge counter. Now, this doesn't mean that they fixed the revenge counter glitch. Okay, that is going to be a shadow patch thing. They have never admitted that that glitch is in the game, and they will not admit it because it's embarrassing, guys. Okay, so they'll call it something else. They're fixing an issue where the activation window or whatever, but they just won't admit that they broke revenge counter. This might fix it, but it needs to be tested. Okay, so guard break fixed an issue where smash attack in the same direction could not break guards after a guard break. All right, so this is an issue where I thought it was an intentional mechanic, but apparently if you break a guard, let's say if you block down and I break your guard, if I were to do a low move again, it would just block the move. It wouldn't guard break it again. So apparently that was a bug the whole time and I didn't know. I thought that was an intentional mechanic. So now they fixed that issue. Now if I break your guard, I could break it again using a smash attack, okay? I had no idea that that was a bug. I thought it was an intentional mechanic, but they changed that, okay? Okay, paralyzing smash key blast. They increased the key consumption, so now they're more expensive to use. Revenge counters can now be used when hit from the front, so you could shake out of your paralyze by using a revenge counter. And hitting twice in a combo will now cause the opponent to be blown away instead of paralyzed. So again, another special key blast got nerfed, okay? I feel like every patch, a special key blast gets nerfed harder and harder, and now paralyzed smash key blast just got a heavy nerf, okay? And honestly, I'm not a fan because this is just creating more staleness in the game, okay? More stale characters that all played the same. So now paralyzed key blasts are not as functional as they used to be. Unblockable key blasts are not as functional as they used to be. And shotgun key blasts are not as functional as they used to be. So now the only key blasts left that are actually kind of unique and function well is the slow moving key blast, which is my favorite. So I'm not a fan of this change. They could have just hit it with a slight nerf. Hitting twice in a combo causing to blow away is enough. We didn't need them to cost more key and you know, allow people to shake out of it with a revenge counter. I feel like that's too much. We just needed a slight nerf to them and that's it. But we know Bandai, they don't slightly nerf anything. They like to nuke things into the ground. So now most of the key blasts are just not as good as the just basic smash key blasts, okay? Okay, so Tornado Slash. Fix an issue where guarding could be inserted during Tornado Slash. Okay. So Tornado Slash is the follow-up to a Grand Slash. So the sweep, if you press triangle 2 times, it does 2 additional hits, and you used to be able to guard the 3rd hit. Apparently that's a bug, okay? So they fixed that issue. Now you can't guard. So it's kind of guaranteed you have to vanish it, okay? So Tornado Slash, you got a buff. No one uses those moves because it's just better to sweep and reset anyways. So far they haven't talked about any changes to resets or any changes to super countering or even C-burst dash follow-ups. So the flowchart gameplay is still, according to this, is still the optimal way to play. You know, C-burst dash follow-ups and key blast resets, essentially, okay? Skill changes and adjustments. Now, these are character-specific changes, which we heavily need right now because all the characters feel the same, okay? So we need buffs to unique skills and abilities. And we only have one on the list, and that's Dispo, a character who no one uses, okay? Dispo sucks, and he will always suck. So I don't know why they're messing with Dispo when they could buff so many other characters that are close to being viable, right? So Dispo Super Maximum Light Speed mode, which is basically a useless freaking ability right now. Icon will now be displayed during the effect duration, and key consumptions for short dashes is reduced. So they buffed it. So now Super Maximum Light Speed mode basically reduces your dash key consumption, and now you can chain them together. So Dispo might be really hard to hit now, and he's still not going to get any use. I guarantee it, because he's squishy, he doesn't do a lot of damage, and he will never be good. So I don't know why they're messing with Dispo when there's so many other characters they could actually buff in this game, okay? So blast changes and adjustments. General unblockable rush blast can now be evaded with auto evasion skills such as after image. I always thought that was the case. Okay, so character changes and adjustments. We got Gogeta from Super and Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Gogeta. They increased the attack power of the Smash Key Blast performed on the spot. So they buffed Gogeta from Super, the best character in the game. Wow. That's really great, guys. That's really great. I don't know why they make these decisions. It seems random to me. It makes no sense logically why they're buffing Gogeta. But it is what it is, okay? So Whis adjusted the blast overture to destruction to be less likely to hit opponents directly above or below. Okay, I never knew that that was an issue. That's what they thought that Whis needed. A nerf to his super. Okay. Battle rules. Fix an issue where stepping out of bounds during battle with ring outs would not result in a ring out. So they're changing the out of bounds barrier during ring out battles, a mode that no one plays. Okay. They thought that was a priority versus, maybe addressing the win condition in DB battle or maybe adding stuff to actual viable game modes. They wanted to fix ring out battles. Good for them, I guess. Online match. Fix an issue where the on-screen UI was sometimes not displayed. Okay, cool. Now, hopefully these are not all the patch notes. Hopefully we do get some shadow patches that are actually meaningful. But these patch notes, in my opinion, are very lazy. They really didn't care about the game this time around patch-wise, okay? Last time we got a comprehensive patch for the Shallow DLC. So the patch was way better than the actual character. This time is the reverse. The characters and the map are way better than the patch notes. The patch notes are not going to do a lot for this game, in my opinion. I mean, the movement options that were added were cool, but they could have added some meaningful stuff, some character-specific stuff to bring some characters into the meta, bring some more, character variety, maybe make characters more unique, and they just refuse to do that. So, in my opinion, these patch notes suck. They're not good. They shouldn't be messing around with Dispo. Or if they are going to mess around with Dispo, they should have messed around with more characters, not just Dispo, okay? But hopefully the new characters are unique enough and good enough to bring some fresh excitement to the gameplay in Sparking Zero, because right now it's very stale, it's very samey, it's very flowcharty, and I don't see these patch notes really fixing that, okay? But let me know what you think. This is my first reaction to these patch notes. Hey, I might be wrong. These patch notes might help the game. And if we get some shadow patches alongside them, maybe, the game could feel a lot better. But based on this, I don't think so. But let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll catch you on the next video. Peace out.